I've been telling you for over 20 years that TNA wrestling was the best thing going. And you know, over the years, TNA has been through a lot of losses. And most notably is the Spike TV deal that went cold because apparently Dixie Carter got caught saying bad things about the network. And the email got back to Spike TV and they ultimately canceled TNA wrestling. I want to talk about some of the stars that TNA's lost. Because I know a lot of people are talking about Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry was nobody to TNA. He was a sports entertainer. And I said that before he was sent to WWE to live happily ever after. Joe Hendry was a sports entertainer. TNA is about wrestling, about Mike Santana, Leon Slater. That's what TNA is about. The rise of Frankie Kazarian finally getting his break that he has deserved for so many years. When I look back at TNA, I don't think about Joe Hendry and think, what a big loss. I think Monty Brown, what a big loss. There's so many stars. Sonny Sinaki. When I think about Sonny Sinaki, who I remember was one of my friend's favorite wrestlers in the TNA Wednesday night era, he always thought about him as being a future world champion, and he might damn well could have been. Monty Brown is somebody they should have thrown all their money at to keep Monty Brown. What about Bobby Roode? Bobby Roode. What is my point? My point is this. TNA will never die from losing a wrestler. They will never die. They have proven it over and over again that they have the ability to create young, up-and-coming talent. And sometimes that talent doesn't stick around. And TNA is just fine. What is happening on January 15th is the biggest television deal in company history, bigger than Spike TV. Because I remind you of this. When Spike TV announced the TNA deal, they announced TNA to go on at 10 o'clock. Then they pulled the plug and said it was going to be on at 11 o'clock. And Dixie Carter and company had to say that this was primetime television. 11 o'clock at night is not primetime television. So TNA was never fully backed by Spike TV. The proof is in the pudding. They are AMC is fully behind. If you've been watching AMC lately, you know that AMC is fully behind the idea that TNA is going to be a ratings getter for AMC. And if they believe that, it will become a reality. The greatest days in TNA history are ahead of us. They're not behind us. And I promise you that. The greatest days in TNA are in the future, not in the past. The greatest days in TNA are over the horizon, not behind it. Listen, I'm telling you, when we get to AMC, things are going to be so much different. It's going to be crazy walking into a grocery store and hearing people actually talk about TNA. And I predict that TNA will be back in Walmart selling action figures, back in retail stores selling merchandise. That's where TNA's headed. That's where they can be. That's what AMC brings. If you look at Breaking Bad and The Walking Dead and Mad Men and Better Call Saul, they're household names. TNA is on the verge of being a household product. Joe Hendry was never really a TNA guy. It's spinning around and acting like when you say his name he appears. It was just stupid. Well, I won't say it's stupid. I'll just say it didn't fit TNA's model. It didn't really fit into what TNA does. I'll name some other guys that don't fit into it. The Hometown Man, that is totally a WWE character. That character doesn't work in TNA. If Hometown Man was to leave, that would probably be a good thing for TNA. But there's plenty of guys that have the sports entertainment coming out of the gate. Joe Hendry was one of those guys. He was sports entertainment in a TNA ring. And I don't think TNA benefited from it. It brought the other talent down in TNA because it didn't fit their model. It's kind of like when Stone Cold Steve Austin was in WCW. A lot of people say WCW took a huge loss when they fired him. But really, Stone Cold Steve Austin just didn't fit in WCW. He went on to other places where he thrived. Hopefully, for Joe Hendry's sake, he goes to WWE and he thrives. Good luck to him. I hope he succeeds. It worked for Stone Cold. Maybe it can work for him too. Some guys just do better in other worlds and other atmospheres. I think guys like Monty Brown were true losses. Monty Brown fit his over the topness and sports entertainment aspect of him. You're going to see the pounce period, but it was all about in ring stuff. It was more about hitting you hard and being a fierce character in the ring. That's what made him stand out. That's what made him different. I truly think those were the bigger losses. What TNA should have done to keep EC3 around. His character was about being a corporate spoiled brat, and I think it really worked. It's unfortunate that that didn't work, but Dixie Carter was gone, so that really takes away from a layer of that. But I could see her sponsoring him and bringing him back. I could be really intrigued to see something like that. I don't think that's ever going to happen. But I do want to talk about AMC, and I brought up Breaking Bad and Walking Dead. All those shows are for mature audiences only, MA. I hope that TNA, that's a sign that TNA, when they get to TNA, is going to be MA product, and it's going to be for mature audiences, and we're not going to be watered down, and that'll be a clear distinction from WWE, and I think that will be a huge, huge step in the right direction. I truly think that Mike Santana's character about what he's done, where he came from the bottom and rose to the top, and Frankie Kazarian finally got a big break. All those stories really thrive on AMC, and I think that those stories can really be great ways to break into the AMC era. Anyways, I'm Kent Jones. I'm signing off.